Welcome to the Business on Purpose podcast. Scott Beebe, your host. We're going to talk about wisdom. Wisdom. And before you turn this podcast off because you think, well, it's not strategic, Scott, you're not going to give me strategy today. I'm going to give you something that trumps strategy. Eat strategy for breakfast, and that is wisdom. Had an opportunity yesterday to take 3 of our heroic small business owners and sit them down to lunch with a wisdom mentor of mine. And as we sat down, we had no agenda. And that was hard for these business owners who are very agenda driven, had no agenda, had no real outcome that was defined beforehand. I'm a goal guy. I'm a purpose guy. Whenever I speak, whenever I meet, I always try to start the meetings and the speaking times with the purpose, with the goal. Here's what I want you to walk out of this room with. And we didn't have that. So we sat down and we just began to talk and have conversation. And within the context of the conversation, periodically one of us would launch a question, and that question being launched would then set off a reaction of wisdom. That's what happens when you sit down with wisdom people, is wisdom comes out. It's not scheduled, it's not planned, it's not agenda driven. Wisdom just comes out. And wisdom began to come out. 3 pages of wisdom in my notebook began to come out. One of the ones that I wanted to share with you today, and that I immediately tried to put into practice this morning, in fact, I just got done with, that's why I wanted to do this episode, was the idea of take 7 to 30 minutes every day to just be quiet. Wig told us yesterday, he said Tom Watson, founder of IBM, used to have a little sign posted in his office, I think it was on his desk, that simply said, think. That's it. Think. We don't have a lot of margin in our day for thinking. We tend to jump straight to doing. I'm a fan of doing. I'm a fan of implementation. What I'm not a fan of is random doing, is haphazard doing, is fire putting out doing, chaotic doing. I'm a massive fan of focused implementation, focused doing. And so in context of focused implementation, focused doing, how do we gain that focus? Well, you can only have it when you take time to simply think. So this morning, it's kind of a unique week for me. We were just coming off spring break at the time of this recording. In fact, one of my latest episodes was me on the side of a mountain, walking down after I had just scaled it with my 2 boys. And we're just coming back from that really amazing trip. And so when you come back and re-enter, obviously you're going to feel chaotic. You're going to feel like things are going crazy. You're going to feel like your business is falling apart. Your team is flailing all over there. That's how you're going to feel. But that's not reality. And once you take time to think, you begin to see with great clarity. And so I want to encourage you for what we got encouragement for yesterday. 7 to 30 minutes a day to do nothing but think. Well, Scott, how do I do that? How do I think? Well, one of the ways that you think is that you protect the room that you're in. You get a thinking space. And so for me this morning, it was a local place that I knew nobody would be at, that I know. We have those places in town where if I wanted to see people publicly, then I would go to these certain places. But I didn't want to see anybody this morning, so I went to this certain place. Grabbed a cup of coffee, decaf. I'm pre-caffeinated. Grabbed a cup of coffee, sat down, had a legal pad, a pen, and I put everything else away. And I just thought. And it's amazingly so, I had a lot of thoughts come out. 7 to 30 minutes a day. Today I had an extended period of that time, Most days it's hard to come by, but I want to start making that a habit, and I hope you will too. So when's your time to think? When's your time to turn off the noise as I crank up the music here to end the podcast? I want to challenge you to find it and dive in. And may you live out your business on purpose. See you next time.